What's up, my friends in film fandom, wherever you may be and however you may be watching? Thank you so much for giving us a little bit of your time. We're going north of the border today to the neighborhood of Dr. Nick and Alex from up north. We're going to be talking about Super Troopers 2. A whole lot of fun. Me and Jeremy have already discussed it a little bit as we were getting ready to go live, and he's got some interesting ideas about this movie. And we're going to go into that right now with my hetero life mate Jeremy. What's up, brother?
Yeah, this would have been a pretty funny show to do with our friends up north, because I feel like it would have just probably been a somewhat recreation of this movie, just taking jabs at each other and why you're the better North American or something like that. So yeah,
we're all Americans. North Americans, no, we're not. I could have totally defused that entire thing when they first go up there and introduce themselves to the Canadians by just saying, hey, can we all agree that Neil Peart is maybe the greatest drummer of all time? That might have quashed the whole thing, but then again, there wouldn't have been a movie, at least not a funny one. But yeah, we are here, of course, to talk about Super Troopers 2 as we continue our little journey through the Super Troopers movies. Super Troopers 2 is a 2018 American comedy film directed by Jay Chandrasekhar. I still have to practice that name. It's a sequel to the 2001 film Super Troopers. The film was written by and stars a Broken Lizard comedy team made up of all the people from the original movie. It follows the Super Troopers being called upon to set up a new highway patrol station when an international border dispute arises between the United States and Canada. After a successful crowdfunding campaign produced $2 million in seed money in 24 hours and $4.7 million overall, the film was eventually greenlit and principal photography began on October 23rd of 2015. The film was released in the United States on April 20th of 2018. No surprise there. In the United States and Canada, Super Troopers 2 was originally projected to gross around $6 million from a little over 2,000 theaters in its opening weekend. However, after making almost $8 million in its first day, including $1.3 million from Thursday previews, weekend estimates were raised to about $16 million. It went on to make $15.2 million, finishing fourth behind A Quiet Place and Rampage. That's not bad. Quiet Place was kind of a juggernaut when it came out. Let's see, nearly matching the $18.5 million the original film made in its entire theatrical run. On Rotten Tomatoes, the film holds an approval rating of 35%, which is criminally low, based on 103 reviews, and an average rating of 4.6 out of 10. The website's critical consensus review reads, quote, "Meow that the wait for Super Troopers 2 is over." I see what they did there. "All but the most devoted fans mustached themselves why they waited so long for such a cruel and tragic shenanigans." Boy, I really love when they try to make wordplay with all this crap but with their reviews. But I don't know. Give me your quick thoughts, Jay, before we get into all the spoiler talk.
Yeah, sometimes sometimes the real crime is how long you wait to make a movie, but sometimes, and I know I'm not the person to speak about that, because a lot of times I'm like, man, if you wait too long, most of the times it's not something that hits. Like, I know you and me were probably more than excited that they made a sequel to Anchorman like 10 years later, because we love Anchorman. I don't know if we've ever done that on this show, and I'd be really surprised if we haven't.
I don't think we have, but I feel like it's one of the ones that we're holding out on until like we hit peak whatever, and then we just have to kind of explode on it. We'll get to it eventually if we haven't.
Well, we can come in here and say, like, yeah, I'm kind of a big deal. When we have many leather-bound books and our houses smell of rich mahogany. Yeah. No, and man, was Anchorman 2 a fucking disappointment. And
it was not as good. It had its moments, but it was not as good.
I wouldn't even dare say it had its moments. I said that was putting it mildly. But in some rare instances, honestly, I think if you got the right people, and like I said, it's all the same twisted minds that did the first movie, so that's a little bit of the hope that you're like, yeah, this is probably going to be good. And to be honest, I think that's the funniest part about this, is I think I actually like this movie more than the first one. I actually genuinely laughed at this one more than I did the first one. Even though, like, halfway through, I'm pretty sure Rachel's like, is this just the first movie again? I'm like, kind of.
I mean,
international disputes, there's drugs now and guns instead of just, weed. I don't know. They're cops. What are you going to do? Fight crime? What a fucking wild concept in a movie about cops. Yeah, but no, I enjoyed this movie, actually. I don't think I was trying to remember, like, did I ever remember this movie? And I didn't, because then I was like, no, I did not actually see this, because I think that was my hesitation. That I'm like, God damn, you wait damn near 20 years to make a sequel. And I'm like, probably not as good as the first. And honestly, I think it was on par. I enjoyed this movie.
Yeah, I'm not as keen on this movie as Jeremy is. Don't think for a minute that I don't like the movie. It's very funny, and it's certainly a worthy sequel. I just think the original was much better. I mean, the original came out in 2001 as we were coming out of that period of great independent filmmaking, and you could still, like I said, we were talking about in the review the other day, you could still make kind of the college humor movies, and people
Mm-hmm.
weren't kind of up in arms about it. But I mean, this movie, a very worthy sequel, certainly very funny in its own right. Certainly a great job by the Broken Lizard guys and all the everybody else in this movie, all the supporting cast. I just feel like the other ones, it's kind of like Clerks 1 and Clerks 2 to me. It's like
Oh,
I think that
yeah.
Clerks 2 is a better film, better movie.
A little more
Clerks,
polished, yeah.
Clerks 1 is definitely the much more art. It's more artistic. It's more funny. I that movie just hits differently. But when you get the bigger budget and stuff like that, it becomes more of a film project rather than just like I said. Like I said in the other review, it was kind of a passion project for these guys. They had spent
Passion
years
project,
putting
yeah.
something like this together, and I think that shows through when you make the sequel. As most sequels do, a little bit of the magic is kind of drains off a little bit. A great movie is fantastic. The sequel almost always, even though they're usually good, it's rare that a sequel really by leaps and bounds outdoes the first film of the series. And there's obvious exceptions, but yeah, this movie, while very very good, I still think is not quite up to the mark as the first one, because I think the humor there, I think the delivery was better. I mean, I know it's kind of hard to explain. I just think the first movie was definitely the better of the two. Although this movie is pretty damn funny, and we're gonna start to break it
Yeah.
down now. Hello to BJ. Thank you for being here as always. Our rock in the chat to keep us from getting a little too crazy, because we don't want to embarrass ourselves in front of BJ. But let's talk. I don't think we need to go into the director too much because we
But I
talked
found that
about
really
him already.
badass shot of him shooting the AK-48. Damn it!
I thought that was Farva.
No,
That was Farva that shot it. Oh no, it was the end of the
no,
movie. Okay, which one is
no,
it?
no,
I'm
no. No, it was not.
not Rob Lowe, not that one.
Literally,
not
the first
Fullcast.
one that says director. Right
Another.
there.
Oh, I thought it was farther down. But anyway,
No.
but yeah. But yes, I mean, maybe let's take a minute to talk about kind of his growth as a director. I mean, I because at this point he had done Dukes of Hazzard and some TV and stuff like that, so he had a lot more experience coming into this movie than he had after doing the first Super Troopers 17 years earlier. I mean, so let's talk a little bit about him for a second. Now that you mentioned, it's probably not a bad idea. I mean, what kind of growth did you see in him from one movie to the next?
That's what I was gonna say. Now that he had his time, being pretty steeped in some of the stuff that we mentioned in the first review. Um, Weirdly, a laundry list of stuff that he'd been involved with, even comedy wise. I don't know. Like I said, with this one, I'm like, I genuinely I laughed a lot more than I did the first one. Not that to say the first one isn't funny. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. There was just some riffs back and forth. Maybe it was because them butting heads with the Canadians, which is so damn funny to me. I don't know why, because it's like, why? There's like no reason for us to just be like at each other's throats, but it's just kind of ridiculous. But that's the humor. That's the style that he didn't lose. That's the thing. He still knows how to make like an over the top, like just ridiculous comedy that you're like, what we discussed the first time around. Like this stuff wouldn't happen. Like at least, I mean, I don't know. I've never been in the backwoods of Vermont, so I don't know what would happen. To be fair, but yeah, and again, it's getting and seeing that people were rallying behind this, like how much money they raised in such a short time, and they were just like, "Oh, yeah, maybe we should, make this. Yeah, this be a good idea." And even with a little bit more budget, I mean, hell, it still managed to look. It still looked good, like you said. The Clerks 2 comparison is a good side by side, I think, where it seems a little more like made into a movie. You can tell the first one. I'm like, yeah, it feels a little low budget, but it still had that same charm. I would say, like both of these movies do. The ridiculous antics of their being a bear just casually in their fucking station, which that was probably why I found this funny, because real life story that something similar to that happened to me, and that reaction was like literally the same, where I'm just like, shut the door, there's a bear. It's just, you don't freak out, you're just kind of like, there's a bear in here. you know Maybe that's why, because that has happened to me before. True story. You can ask my mom, she's in the comments, she was there. No one believed me until my mom saw that I was white as a fucking ghost, and they're like, "Oh, maybe there is a bear." I was like 14 years old. I opened the door and hello, it was a bear right in front of me. Slammed the door in his face. Probably scared the shit out of the bear and myself, to be fair. Because yeah, see, they all thought I was like, like I got a messed up sense of humor too. That's why I watch these movies like Super Troopers. But damn it, why would I be kidding? Jesus, no, yeah, there's, like I said, he still had the comedy chops, like I said, that made the first one so popular, and again, as to why they were like, yeah, let's make a sequel. I mean, even if it took, what you said, 2015, and it came out in 18, so it still took a few years. See, now I even got the wife to back me up. It is kind of a wild story. I mean, I know it's a wild concept to be out in the mountains, and there be a bear, right? But old Yogi had his nose about that close to the door when I opened it. So, yeah. Scary shit. And he broke into the cabin behind us like the night before. I'm like, oh, cool. You know what he'll do? He'll come in through the window. Guess who's sleeping on the couch underneath that same very window? That's the same in that cabin. I'm gonna get bear hugged by a big ass like bear in the middle of the night. It's not gonna be a fun time for me. So stay strapped, kids. That's all I gotta say. Yeah. I don't know. Stay strapped in the woods.
Have you ever seen The Great Outdoors? You ever seen that movie?
I thought you meant like IRL. I'm like, yeah, plenty of times actually. No, I've not seen that.
What do they call it? What do they call the bear? Old Baldy, I think is what they call it in that movie. You'd have to watch the movie. It's classic Dan Aykroyd, John Candy. You really should see it if you get a chance. It's a winner. It's one of the John Candy movies that always kind of gets pushed off to the side behind things like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles and stuff. But
Cool Running.
But it's Cool Running. But it's one of his more underrated films. It's very, very funny.
Uncle Buck.
Buck. Yeah, it gets pushed to the side from all those other bangers that he put out. But it's a really good movie. Maybe something we should put on the schedule. But
yeah.
Trying to think of a good time of year to do that. It's not really a holiday movie, but it's got a little bit of the National Lampoon's Vacation feel to it. But yeah, where I think his growth as a director is most prevalent is probably the first act. The setup for this movie was really good. Talking about they kind of did something they did in the first movie. They talk about the school bus incident with Farva, and I imagine they're going to do something like this in the third film as well. I haven't seen it. I'll probably go see it tomorrow night.
That seems to be a running joke. There's something.
Yeah, but it's like there's something that happens. They allude to it a lot. The Fred Savage incident, and then finally in the post-credit scene, you get to see the body cam footage of what happened to Fred Savage, and it all looks very goofy and fun. But it's like the setup for this movie I thought was a lot better. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot to set up in the first movie. It's just like the opening scene with the kids in the car when they pull them over is kind of the setup for what the movie is. But as far as character setup as to where these guys are now, how they got to where they are now, and what builds up to the eventual plot of the movie, I thought that storytelling was very, very good. I think that he probably did that a lot better after having a lot of directorial experience as opposed to maybe putting something like that in the first film. So that's an important part of his growth. And I mean, like I said, I haven't seen the third one yet. I'm looking forward to seeing it at some point this weekend, and it looks like a banger. Mm-hmm. I mean, the trailers alone are knockout hilarious, and I can't imagine this movie isn't going to fit right into the trilogy and be exactly what it needs to be to kind of complete this thing. But let's talk about the cast now. And again, a lot of people returning, some new faces. Jerry, what do you think of the cast of the film, and who stood out to you the most?
First of all, I'm impressed that I got that many people that are all in this movie all in one shot. Yeah. I was skimming through and I was like, wait a minute, there we go. There's, I think, literally everybody. Yeah, obviously, the troopers are hilarious. Of course, we have Brian Cox is back as their chief. Always a fun time. It's feels like cheating, but I'm gonna say Rob Lowe. I mean, like you said, you never go wrong with that. Yeah, there he is. You never go wrong adding talent.
Yeah, you'd never go wrong adding talent.
And I mean, who else? You get Rob Lowe in this movie. He's a fun character, and like I said, I may be biased, because people who from around here, around these parts. Yeah, he's a fun character, and of course it is a spoiler review, so I mean, sorry for the big plot twist. He's actually the bad guy. Dun, dun, dun.
They do kind of telegraph it from the very beginning, though. So I mean, it's not like if you've seen this movie,
you kind of wonder.
You're kind of like,
you kind of wonder about this guy. Like he's probably the bad guy. No, he is. But as I've said a few times in some movies, like when we did Dick Tracy, when I talked about Al Pacino, I'm like, I feel like all these guys have fun. It's like, man, I feel like Rob Lowe just had a lot of fun with this movie. And you can tell. Because it's just, again, just goofy, over the top shit that he does in a very weird way. Never thought I'd see Rob Lowe speed bagging someone's dick, but hey, it's like, okay, man, you do you, man. So he plays this weird. Was he like the mayor of the town or whatever the hell? And he also owns like a fucking brothel or something, which tracks, I'm sure. I don't know. I've only been to Canada like twice. I have no idea. So, especially not Canada, right where Vermont is. So, who knows what goes on? Yeah, but Rob Lowe for the win.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I mean, at first I was kind of like, I'm kind of glad that Wonder Woman plays a bigger role in this movie, even though it's not a whole lot.
She is back. Wonder Woman is back,
and I kind of like the girl Genevieve as being kind of the sex kitten, the sex symbol, the big female that drives the movie. But at the
can we give Rabbit a love interest? Hell yeah.
Yes, always good to spread it around a little bit. But God, I told people several times that Rob Lowe's comedic chops are wildly underrated. He's such a good actor.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you ever listened to his podcast or not. He's got a YouTube show where he just talks with other actors. He talks a lot with people that he's worked in the past. All the guys that he was on like The Outsiders with and stuff like that.
Ooh.
But it's like even in he's got a killer delivery. And I'm not even trying to suck him off a little bit here because he's from the area that we live in. I mean, even back in the day in the '80s, as part of the Brat Pack and stuff, I was a big fan of his. Mm-hmm. There is something about him that is just really funny, and even in his more serious roles, because I'm a big fan of The West Wing. I think that's one of the greatest TV shows ever made, and there were moments of that show where he's trying to play a serious person, a political advisor and speechwriter, where there's really subtle comedy that he does for moments that are supposed to be really funny, but you can't overstate it in a show like that because that's not what the show is. And he raises the level a little bit. And let's not forget, he's one of the things that makes Wayne's World one of the greatest comedies out of the 90s.
Well, I mean, like Wayne's World and Austin Powers, like he's number 2.
Yeah. The second one,
goofy comedy.
Yeah. So he
excellent observation, number 2.
He's got comedic chops. So for all the dramatic stuff that he's done, Outsiders is one of the things I think is one of the great movies ever made. But and so many other things, he's got his comedy is there. He was actually in a movie. I didn't put it in the trivia because I didn't think it was all that important. But he had worked with Jay Chandrasekhar, had directed several episodes of that TV show, The Grinder, where he was ironically Savage's brother. They were 2 lawyers. It was kind of a short-lived comedy. Yeah, he was Fred Savage's brother, and he is an actor who his career does something wrong, so he decides to become a lawyer with his brother, and then stuff happens. I don't think I ever actually watched an episode of it because I don't think it really even went for a full season. But it's like his comedy chops are good, and everything he's in, he's got a way of, even in serious moments, delivering comedy to where it's awesome. But yeah, I mean, and the rest of the cast, I mean, Brian Cox is great. You also get the cameo from Stifler and from Damon Wayans Jr., which was, that whole opening sequence was really funny. I mean, what was funnier, the opening sequence of this movie or of the last one? Because I kind of want to go with the last one, but this one, man, it just hits so much different.
You're comparing the first movie to the second movie, the opening scene?
Yeah, the opening sequences.
I I love that we're just like completely opposite on this review today. This is hilarious. I was kind of like, as much as I'm like, I'm excited to see those two, boneheads on screen. Of course, Stifler, because then I'm like, aha, that's right. You worked with him in Dukes of Hazzard. He was dope. So, work with people like, which is cool. But I don't know. I was kind of just like, okay. And then because like I said, it I thought it took like a fucking dark turn. I was like, oh Jesus Christ, Mac just fucking straight up died. I was like, there's dark humor, but then I was like, what? Huh? It was a dream. I was like, okay, but why? What? I was just confused. I don't know. Because then you threw that in there. I was like, oh wait, I was like, oh wait, now they're on the road as a band. I mean, sure, I can buy that. We're probably gonna find out what happened with Fred Savage because that's the joke. We know they set something up. There's some outlandish thing. And they somehow ended up from being cops to like rock stars. I'm like, why not? You can expose that, exposition that out somehow, whatever. And then like and like Mac just dies, and they wake, and then I think a rabbit was having the dream, right? I was like, oh. And they're just construction workers. I'm like, so which is it? I'm like, well, how the hell did you end up? I don't know. I was just like kind of confused. I was excited to see Stifler because I was like, yeah, again another staple of 2000s comedy with American Pie and shit. So every millennial knows two moms. We know Stifler's mom and Stacy's mom.
Damn right.
If you know, you know. So, no, every year I don't wear a picture with Stifler's mom on it talking about she wants a hot dog for 4th of July. I don't do that. Just saying. I think I liked the first one better. I don't know. Because it like you said, it did kind of set that tone of like, oh, it's going to be that kind of movie where it's like they're just fucking with these kids. They're getting pulled over for having, I don't know how, like that was a big ass bag of weed that kid ate. And then I don't know what he shoved so many things down his throat. It was just tripping the fuck out the entire time these cops are fucking with him. And it's like, yeah, that's what the movie's about. I don't know. I like the first one better.
Yeah, Casey chiming in saying he prefers the original opening. That's the thing is I prefer it because I always like the original thing, but because that's always a great that if anything great starts, it starts in one spot, and that one spot is always the thing that attracts me because it's the first step of the greatness. This one is way funnier. I mean, as much as I love them screwing with the kids in the first movie, this one was just over the top. It was like, we have a bigger budget for this film slightly, so let's go ahead and just knock it out. Tour bus accident. We're all rock stars. We throw these two other cops out of the bus and fuck with them, and it's just
that was funny. Them throwing them out was pretty funny. It turned it on a little bit. Like there's their humor.
Yeah, but I think the second one's funnier, but I lean towards the original. That I don't know. It's just the way I am. Maybe it's a little bit of my Aaron coming out in me a little bit. Maybe a little bit of contrarian, but yeah, I like the original. But the second one is certainly funnier. But let's go into the plot now. And obviously, we're talking about this whole idea of part of Canada becoming part of America. Whatever's going on, they find the drugs. What do you think of the plot of the film? Did it work for you? Or is there anything you would have changed?
It's an interesting plot, I will say. I will say, like, I was glad to see Linda Carter back in this movie, but I was also like, wow, I am here to exposition dump and again, goodbye. I'm like, it's a little awkward, a little clunky and heavy-handed. Like, hey, this is a thing that's happening. I'm like, whatever, set up your movie. Here's your fucking goofy premise that, like, a little bit of Vermont is now trickling into Canada conveniently in this one little town that Mr. Rob Lowe there is the apparent mayor of. Sure. So now we're gonna butt heads with the Canadians that live there, which I was like, that's a funny plot idea. And I had to. There was a couple times where I'm like, oh yeah, this was in 2018. This was like more recent. For some reason I kept thinking like, oh, this was like 2011 or something. I was like, no, this was like more recent than you think. So some of the jokes, I was like, oh, this is a little more relevant. That's kind of funny. So, and then, of course, it's a little bit the same, but I would say same but different. It's like, yeah, they find a bunch of guns. They find. I mean, it's hilarious that they find a bunch of cracked out Canadian kids. I'm trying to find that picture. There it is. This assortment of fucking Canadian drugs. Pick your poison, which all of them do, because of course they do. Because the only way to figure out the effects, right, is to take them. I think that's how that works. Like scientifically, I think that's how that works. One of which I'm glad I did get the picture of the commercial is the Flova Scotia, which was just fucking hilarious. That poor Thorne's character just kept taking. He just kind of got real emotional and real moody for most of the movie. But again, it was funny. He committed to the bit. And like I said, they find all the crates of guns and all this other shit, and it's basically like, yeah, they're gonna smuggle some shit. You know, all this stuff that's definitely illegal in America. I'm glad I got the funny shot of where is it? Yeah, those are AK-48s. You know why? Because it has an extra bullet. Because that's how that works. Bullet. You never know. You never know where you need that one extra bullet.
It's not that it actually holds 40 bullets.
No, it doesn't. That's why to me, I'm like, see, that's why that was funny. I genuinely started fucking laughing because I'm like, I know guns pretty well. So do you. And I was like, that's so goddamn stupid, but it's so fucking funny. It's a 48. It holds an extra bullet. I'm like, no, it doesn't. Whatever. That's so fucking funny. At least this movie gave us a literal, biblically accurate Canadian cop. I think that's... See, this is why I wish I had Nick and Alex. I'm like, so tell me, is this what this like? This is a real picture? This is not the movie, right? This is a real picture.
I bet it is.
Yeah. But no, funny movie. They... of course, that picture there, you come to find out Rob Lowe is actually the bad guy. And Genevieve pulls a double twist, double Dutch twist, or whatever the hell. Found that, you know, yeah, she was in on it, then she wasn't because she was undercover or something. But Rabbit still kind of got poked in the dick by a saw blade. So, but that's where's. I got the picture somewhere. But it was a happy ending. Yeah, it was still a happy ending for the two of them. Good for them. You know. But no, I don't think I'd really change it. Like I said, even if it is some of the same beats, but I mean some of the same beats that do work. Because I will admit, somewhere in there, I know I have a picture of her somewhere. There we go. Hey, Linda Carter, who again I think we said last time, like, goddamn. If there was someone who is aged as fucking gracefully as anybody, it's Linda Carter. Good Lord.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, then, of course, she just immediately comes back in at the end of the movie and like, hey, guess what? No, we're putting this on hold because now the movie's over. I'm like, okay. Now the whole plot of this movie is now just ended because she said so.
Yeah.
Basically. Whatever, sure. And I mean, yeah, then they get in the fight with the Canadians again because they're like, wait, so we own this place now. And they're like, no, we saved your fucking lives. What the hell? And yeah, big brawl because, of course, it's one thing this movie does do a lot of, and just the over the top brawls. It's almost like Family Guy levels of just like they just start fighting for no reason. It's just ridiculous, ridiculous over the top fighting. Yeah, I wouldn't change anything about this movie. I think it worked. It had its premise set up, and set up by Wonder Woman. So I mean, I wouldn't argue with her. Works for me.
Yeah, I kind of like that they make it's like a weird kind of political thing that is not at all realistic, but strangely political enough where you'd almost believe it to be a real thing if it ever popped up in a newsfeed somewhere.
Probably.
It's one of those things you're just like, really? Is it that? Because there actually is. I forget where it is. It's Montana or something like that. One of the like the flyover states that side of the Mississippi. There is a small little piece of land that goes.
There are some that do that. Yeah,
it goes up like that. So it's kind of rooted in reality. I don't think it's ever been like a big problem between Canada and the U.S. That little piece of land.
No.
I forget exactly why the border was like that. I remember seeing several years ago on the History Channel. They used to have this.
There was a series about that.
How the states got their shape. That's what I was getting ready to bring up. Actually,
yeah. I thought it was cool. And I think about it. You're like, why is it shaped like that?
Yeah. Or why is any shape shaped the way it is? In a lot of states, there's a big reason why borders run the way they are. But
I can tell you Ohio because half of it's a goddamn river. Can't do anything about that.
Yeah, really.
I'll ruin that one for you right now.
But yeah, so I really dug the plot. Again, it was a little like silly to let her do all that expo dump, but it's like when you've got Linda Carter and Brian Cox in a scene together. I mean, you're talking about some decent actors there. Let them do the heavy lifting to explain the dumb stuff, to explain the plot. Let them do the exposition dump so the state troopers can go on and do their things like taking drugs and doing cartwheels naked in front of the police station because you're high on acid or whatever, or screwing around with Jim Gaffigan again, which I thought was one of the funniest scenes.
Yeah.
He's like, wait a minute,
and some of the where is it? I was like, hey, he got his goddamn liter of pop. He got his goddamn liter of pop.
He never did get the Yule log though. It was butter Yule log, whatever the hell it was.
The butter Yule log cake or whatever the hell. He's like, you get 10 of these liters and you get a free dessert. And he's like, God damn it, I'm getting my dessert. How about all 10 of those liters right now?
Boy, his back teeth must have been flowing. I was probably pissing him squirting out of his eyeballs.
Well, I mean, we saw he was, ejecting stuff out of every orifice of his body when they got the heat vision goggles. I'm like, he's pissing, he's shitting, he's farting. Like, goddamn, dude.
I'm surprised you didn't get a picture of that. I almost did. I almost put that on the thumbnail.
I think there was one. I was trying to get like a decent.
I almost put one on the thumbnail, but I was like, I'm not. I feel like that might, like the metal cup and like authority lactating. That was funny for the thumbnail. But I was just
I'm doing what my body tells me to do.
I don't know about Farva, pissing and farting and all that on a FLIR camera. That was a little much even for me. But I love the plot of this movie. Again, I don't care about the exposition dump. If you got Linda Carter, I've said it before, some people deliver dialogue a certain way. Let the expert do what the expert does. Let her and Brian Cox do that, and then let all the other clowns go off and knock guys out and drop them off naked, painted red, white, and blue in the woods.
Trying to figure out fucking what the hell a kilometer is. Yeah. I'm sorry. See, that was funny to me. I'm like, I'm sorry. I thought this was America. What the hell is a kilometer? That shit was pretty funny.
But yeah, and it was again. It wasn't just the same way. As a matter of fact, I even think that like Foster even says it a bunch of times. I'm telling you, it's a local cops, and we're just like, dude, that was the last movie. And I'm almost surprised they didn't even make a reference to that. But not to say it was the last movie, just looking at it and be like, dude, it's not always the local cops. But kind of alluding to that as well, because it is kind of a head fake, because it's not necessarily because the local cops aren't involved. Obviously, it was just the mayor and his henchmen. Wow. Who, by the way, I'll go back to this picture again real quick. I swear to God, on the right, that looks like Allie Larder. Am I wrong? I know it's probably not her. She's way too big of a star for like 5 seconds of no dialogue and all this. But
just henchman with gun.
Looks dead ass like her.
Well, it's also, I mean, it's not like that. Some actors don't do that. Like, I mean, Daniel Craig was a stormtrooper for like fucking 30 seconds in a Star Wars movie. I know he had a helmet on, but whatever. You know what I mean? But you're like, oh, that was him. Or why was Brad Pitt in Deadpool for 3 seconds, even though he just got electrocuted and died?
It wasn't even like fully Brad Pitt. It was just probably a picture of him going, ugh.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? You still had to pay big money for that. That would be wild, honestly.
But I do want to go back to this scene for a second, because I love subtle comedic jabs. So it's like when they're talking over the car, the way that they were during the Meow game, and Foster is talking to Mac, and Max is in the back, and then Gaffney goes, I can hear you guys, right? He goes, really? He goes, yeah. He goes, he looks up at Mac. He goes, God, I've been doing that for years. I love subtle comedy that like it's not necessarily cerebral. It's just not delivered like a punchline. It's just like you say a line. It's just like kind of matter of factly, like you're not trying to deliver it in a certain way.
When you're saying something that you're like, you'd think like everyone else is thinking, you're like, he can hear you still, right? He's like, oh God damn it, they've always been able to hear me. Yes, dumbass.
Yeah, I've been doing this for years.
You're standing right there.
But I also do like the whole somebody has to have like a love whatever. There's got to be a romantic relationship to feed the comedy. I'm glad that it doesn't really affect this is my problem with superhero films, giving the superhero a girlfriend always it kind of screws things up. Just let the superhero be the superhero. Let Batman be Batman. No Vicky Vale. No, none of this nonsense. Don't do it.
That's why there's Catwoman. There's shit like that.
Yes.
But
And I love that it didn't interfere with the rest of the movie. Now, I don't know how much it could have interfered with a comedy like this. It's not like this was a serious cop movie or anything. But
No.
I do love that it ended up kind of just being its own little funny side note and not something that kind of derailed everything that was happening in the film. But
Well,
I did like the plot overall, though.
So I was gonna say, like, for like we had her for what, like 30 seconds. Like we're like she's still around. Like Ursula's still here with Foster.
Yeah.
Kind of. I don't know. She dropped him off on the motorcycle, and then she was there on like a fucking Zoom call or whatever the fuck, and then bye. So I mean, we gave somebody else like the love story where it was her and Foster in the last one, and this one was Rabbit and Genevieve. So yeah, it still worked. Was it Farva who even said like, "You still banging that blonde chick" or some shit? Like, yeah, dude. Where's that? Hold on. Where's that goofy ass pic? I know I got a picture of Farva. Yeah, with the damn the green M&Ms.
Like,
With that same damn delivery. Like we were watching him, and then I think Rachel said almost the same time as Brian Cox. He's like, "Are you swallowing M&Ms whole?" He just looks at him dead in the face. Yeah, the green ones make me horny. Keeps swallowing them. He's like, "Why can't you just chew them?" Like, what the fuck, man? And then when he takes the drugs later, he actually chews the drug he eats. And one of the guys goes like, "Dude, you chew the drugs, but you swallow the M&Ms." He's like, "I'm a complicated guy, dude. I don't know what to tell you." I'm like, I don't know. It's just Farva. Like I said, I would have said Farva again for this one, but I mean, Rob Lowe kind of beats him out. Sorry, Ron Wilson, bus driver, but not that you weren't funny and had some of the better lines. That's why I picked his line for one of my quotes again, but still.
Yeah, I thought that I remembered when this movie came out, there was some kind of reason why what's her name didn't play a bigger role in the movie, the blonde girl.
Oh, Ursula. I don't remember the actress. Was she like doing?
I remember I remember there being something in the news. It may have been. I know she was. I know I know right after the first movie came out, or like in the late 2000s, she had become kind of a decent commodity. She was on the cover of Maxim magazine a couple of times. Things like I know she had done other things like CSI or something like that, and some other like one-off episodes of big TV shows. So maybe it was just a scheduling thing, but yeah, I thought there was some other reason I thought I had read years ago why she wasn't a bigger part of this. But I'm just glad that she's there somewhere.
I was glad she was there anyway. Yeah,
and maybe Foster can steal a little bit of that Flova Scotia from Thorny, and when they get back in the same room, a little bit of Flova Scotia, and then nature takes the course. You know what I mean? But let's talk for a minute now about some comparisons to the original.
Told him to hold on to that rod for next weekend. God damn it! She said it.
But let's go to your picture of the bear and the bring back any memories, Jay.
Yeah, I remember there being a door between the two of us at least. I mean, I feel for dude. That's pretty much what happened, actually. It was just that casual, like, oh, there's a bear.
Yeah, we've already done this in several ways and in several words already, but I mean, kind of compare it to the original. Which one do you prefer more, and compare some of the different aspects, the comedy and the acting and whatnot?
I don't know. Like I said, there's something about the deliveries in this one that I liked more. Even if the setup, because like the first one didn't need as much of a setup as we mentioned. The first scene kind of does that, like where they're just fucking with the kids when they pulled them over. They had the drugs. It's like that's what this movie is. Like this one, it's like now there's been established lore. Yeah, now we have more characters to add, and an even bigger, like ridiculous premise, like. This little bit of, Vermont is now seeping into Canada, and it's like, hey, guess what? This is about to be an American town, so all these Mounties here are about to lose their jobs. So it sets up your conflict, even if it was a little bit outlandish, even for this movie. I don't know, just some of it was the back and forth, I think, between the two of them, or the Mounties and the troopers. That's what made me laugh. Maybe it's because it kind of reminded me of like Fanboys. Like when the Star Wars nerds and the Star Trek nerds are just butting heads throughout the entire fucking movie, and just their quips back and forth to each other are just hysterical. I don't know. I'm not saying I did like this one more, but like I said, they are both on par. Because as I mentioned in the start, that can be done wrong. You put too much of a time gap between the two. It's like, I hope you don't lose that comedic edge, but thankfully it didn't. Um, yeah, that maybe because this one again got a little too real for me, and I was like, oh yeah, I've come face to face with a bear. It's not cool. And there weren't no Canadian Mounties that did it to me either. So that was just Mother Nature being a dick. She tends to do that.
Yeah, one of the best comparisons between these two films that I could think of is really the way that they're so similar. It's the interaction between the characters. We've talked plenty of times about how one of the reasons why me and you relate to Dante and Randall so well is because that's how we communicate. It's not. It's not.
I said like a bunch of savages in this town.
I've said since I first seen Clerks, one of my go-to lines when I'm at work and I'm annoyed is like, God, this job would be so much better with these fucking customers. But there's a lot of that in both these movies. Is like I said, like that scene with Jim Gaffigan where it's a very simple line delivery and not overdone. It's not like they're trying so hard to deliver a punchline. It's just conversation. And I think that's something in both these movies that I've really liked. To compare them to the Dante and Randall dynamic, is it's just words. It's not anything that's over delivered. It's not overacted. It's just these guys talking to one another. And I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of these smaller films why people relate to them a little more, is because they do feel like they're real life. They feel more like real life. It's like, I can't imagine that. I can talk a lot about the diner scene in Heat between Pacino and De Niro. Mm-hmm. As great as that scene is, it feels so large that it doesn't feel real. It feels cinematic. The stuff that goes on in movies like this doesn't really feel cinematic. It feels real. It feels right. It feels like it can exist in front of me right now. It's not something that was cleverly crafted by Jay Chandrasekhar and all his friends about these kooky Vermont cops. That's one of the things that I've loved about these first two movies, and I'm hoping they don't get away from that in the third movie, because if that becomes an overproduced piece of crap, and the best, funniest things are just what they put in the trailer, it's going to be really disappointing. I don't think it's going to be like that, because I feel like this is probably the property that they probably hold a little bit closer to them than anything else, so they want to make sure it's done right.
Yeah, they want to do it right.
We talked in the last 2 years about Boondock Saints, how we're waiting for that third one. And I'm just, and I said before, I was like, I will wait as long as I have to wait, so long as it fits. I don't want it to be the next great piece of cinematic art. I want it to fit in the trilogy. I want it to fit in with the other two movies. I don't want it to be too much. I want it to be just right. And I think that's what these first two movies are. I think they're just right. They complement each other very well.
I think that's what Troy Duffy's trying to do too. Is like, he's like, I know this is a big deal, not only to us, but to the people who are fans of this series. And he's like, I'd want to do it right. Now, what scares me a little bit is it's like, I think he wrote it, but he like handed this off to someone else. I was like, at least you wrote it, I guess. I mean, this is from your mind. I mean, I don't doubt that he's still going to have his hand in it, maybe producing at least, which, I mean, I know we always say like, oh, you're a producer. Whoopee. You brought coffee one day or something. I don't know. But no, I feel like Troy Duffy would want to be involved with it. And I feel more comfortable that he wrote it, and I feel like he'd still at least have his hands in the pies, as it were, with whoever directs it. And I mean, obviously, the little indie actor, named Norman Reed, it's just not like he's a big fucking name.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he would want it to be done right as well. So, I think Norman would want it done right, and as well as Sean Patrick Flannery. So, yeah. Hilariously, speaking of Boondock Saints, guess who was the driver of the damn bus? The guy from the second movie.
Oh, yeah. Clifton Collins, who I love. Yeah. I have not seen Clifton Collins bad in anything. He can do comedy. He can do like the action-y shit like he did in Boondock Saints 2. He was really, really good in a movie called The Last Castle with Paul Newman and James Gandolfini. He was very good in that. It's a great movie. Wildly underrated. Nobody talks enough about that movie. But he was in a couple of TV shows that I really loved that just didn't make it. They didn't make it past the first season or got canceled into the second season or whatever. Very, very disappointing, because he's a really good actor. He was also in the first J.J. Abrams Star Wars movie. He was one of the Romulan bad guys. He was like the main henchman for Eric Bana's character. Very good in that as well. So he's got a Star Trek connection, which makes me very happy. because I love me some Star Trek. But yeah, Clifton Collins Jr. is fantastic as well.
Watch your mouth.
But
well, I'll start going fanboy on your ass. Don't you dare say Star Wars.
So we'll go to this real quick. I mean, what are your expectations for the third film? Neither one of us have seen it yet. We have no real idea. I mean, the trailers we've seen, they look hilarious. But I mean, coming off the first two films we've already reviewed, what are your expectations for the third film?
I would want it, like you said, to keep that same level of humor. And I know when we watched the first one, we're like, this is right in that butter zone of those kind of movies. It was 2001. It makes sense. And then, this one coming out in 2018, I kind of had to keep reminding myself of that. And I was like worried because I'm like, I hope it wasn't like too neutered, because people get offended if you breathe the wrong fucking way anymore. But no, it still, like I said, kept that same kind of charm and irreverent humor that it's known for. That's what I hope it keeps. And again, this movie's over the top. This series is over the top. It's ridiculous. I'm like, sure, it's gonna be some ridiculous plot just to make plot happen. But when it happens, I'm like, it's gonna be, and don't pistol whip me, it's gonna be some shenanigans that we're gonna laugh about. Yeah, I feel comfortable knowing that it's all these same guys after all this time still finding ways to get these fucking Vermont troopers to do just over the top shit. So whatever the plot may be, because I don't know if in a million years I could ever guess one of the plots of these fucking movies. So I'm not going to pretend like I know.
It's probably out on. I'm not going to bother reading about it.
Well, probably.
I'm sure it's out on Wikipedia now, but I don't want to go too into it because I want to spoil anything for myself. But
I'm not going to look.
Yeah. Like I said, I just want this movie to fit.
Don't hold back. Is what I'm saying.
But because all these guys, it's kind of like it's. I don't know if they would consider it their crowning achievement, but it's like it's the one thing that if we look at these guys together, this is the first thing that comes up is, oh yeah, you guys are super troopers. It's that's what comes up, and they've done other stuff since. I mean, the guy that played Farva, Kevin Heffernan, he was in the small series Agent Carter that came out from Marvel. He doesn't have a big role. He's just the asshole that goes in there and like says chauvinistic shit to her friend, the waitress at the automat, and at the end of and he's in like the first couple episodes, and at the very end of the last episode, she goes in there and slaps him around because he's acting like a fucking 40s goofball to her friend. But I mean, he was also the bus driver in Sky High, as I recall. I only saw that movie like once.
Ron Wilson, bus driver.
Yeah,
that's why I keep saying that. That's why I keep calling him that. He's Ron Wilson, bus driver. That is his entire title.
But yeah, and then both him and the guy that plays Mac, they're in that Tacoma FD, which I've only watched a couple episodes of, but it's funny. It's TV, so they can't really go there the way they go there in the movies. But
I also forgot. Speaking of Dukes of Hazzard, I don't know why it went over my fucking head that he was also Sheev. He was the guy that ran the bait and tackle shop that helps them blow up the safe. I was like, oh my god, he was Sheev. Holy shit. So I'm like, okay, maybe I've seen you be more ridiculous characters than I have seen you be someone as wholesome as Ron Wilson, bus driver. But, I appreciate your range, sir. Believe me.
Yeah, I want a movie that fits. I don't want a movie that is too much. I don't want a movie that's supposed to be something else. Don't go for it. Don't try to change the direction of the characters. Just give me something that fits. That's all I want. Yeah. And like I said, we were just talking about it with the Boondock Saints. It's like I think that's what they're going for. That's why take our time. I don't care if we get to shoot this movie when we're 70. It's going to be the brothers in their 70s doing some crazy shit. But it's got to work. It's got to be right for the characters. It's got to be right for the story. Till they're 90. Damn it. It's got to fit in with the
Rocco
rest
said,
of it.
You could do this every goddamn day. We're sort of like 7-Eleven. We're not always doing business, but we're always open.
But it's just got to fit in. It's got to. I have to look at this movie and be like, you know what? It's just right. That's it. That's right. It doesn't have to be special. It has to be. That's right. I'm not looking for the next great cinematic piece of art, next Dr. Zhivago, anything. Make it fit. The trailers are fucking hilarious. I haven't laughed at a trailer like this in quite some time. I can't remember the last trailer.
That's fair.
Trailer, not movie, trailer that I looked at that I had to of a comedy that I had to watch 3 or 4 times, and I laughed just as hard the last time as I did the first time. I'm actually really excited with what they're doing. So what the trailers have given us anyway. So yeah, I'm ready. Like I said, if not, I'll go see it at some point this weekend. I'm hoping to go see it tomorrow, but Jennifer wants a date night, and I don't think she wants to go see this. So I may have to escape on my own.
Does not be the perfect romantic.
Maybe she didn't get a chance to watch this movie with me when I was watching it last night, but maybe she would take the Nova Scotia thing personally. I don't know. I mean, I don't know why do any women get offended at some of the crap that we watch anyway? But let's go ahead and get into some of the trivia now. And I'm really upset at the lack of trivia that I found in this, but I managed to find a couple of good ones. Let's see. We'll go to the cast for this one because in order to maintain continuity from the first film, director Jay Chandrasekhar refused to shoot until the original cast were all at the same weight as they were in the previous film.
Nice.
That's details.
That makes sense.
That is detail.
I mean, not only did they kept all the mustaches and all that shit, they kept the physique. I appreciate that.
Although, I really don't. Maybe it was CGI. Maybe it was a bidol. Maybe it was a prosthetic. In the beginning of the film, when you see Ramathorn, he's got like the washboard stomach and all that. I don't know if he was in that kind of shape for the first movie because I don't believe so. But I mean, it does say weight, not necessarily physical shape. So I'll.
Yeah, I mean. 18 some years later, I mean, what are you gonna do?
Yeah,
17 years,
But let's see. Interesting trivia that brings up another movie that I think we must do now. As I've been watching these movies, I've been reminded about how funny this other movie is. The ringtone on Mac's phone at the construction site is "Pina Colada Berg" by Coconut Pete from Broken Lizard's Club Dread. Have you ever seen Club Dread?
I have not.
Jeremy, let me give you a quick summation of Club Dread. It's got all these guys. It's got the Broken Lizard guys.
Right.
And they're all playing obviously very different characters. And they all work on this island that is run by this God, what the fuck is the name of the movie? I forget. Coconut Pete, who is basically he's played by the late great Bill Paxton, who himself had tremendous comedic chops. And he wrote the song called Pina Colada Berg that was apparently his only hit, and he took all that money and bought this island, which is basically like a big party island. It's all swinging and drugs and whatever, and all the guys in the Broken Lizard crew work on this island, but people start dying, and so they're dealing with all this bullshit while half of them are high off their asses. And they made Kevin Heffernan, the guy that plays Farva, Kevin Heffernan, they made him the hero, which I thought was fantastic because it looked after seeing him as Farva, it was really cool to see him be the guy who kind of saves
like the opposite,
not such a douchebag, a character you can actually get behind, kind of like him. But that movie is hilarious, and as soon as you get a chance to sit and watch it, I think you and Rachel will enjoy it a lot, especially if you like this shit. But you're gonna text me and be like, "Dude, we have to do this." It's so funny.
Hey, we're millennials. We like stupid humor. Believe me.
But I mean, and I don't know if you've seen any of their other stuff. I mean, I haven't seen Slam and Salmon. I have seen Beer Fest a couple times. Beer Fest is really funny. I don't think it's quite as good as Super Troopers, but it's definitely funny. But all the stuff that they've done together as a comedy troupe, movie wise, has been really, really good. I haven't gotten around to seeing Slam and Salmon. Beer Fest is funny, dude, but wildly underrated is Club Dread. I think it's funny. It's got the whodunit mystery thing. Not really a lot of blood, so I don't think somebody like Tex would enjoy the lack of gore for being a horror film where people die. But it's got the other things that he likes that he always says you have to have in a movie, like
Well, you know what? There were titties in this movie, so we can shut up.
True. But Tex, watch that
titties and Rob Lowe in the same frame.
I know, right? I know, and maybe even some penises if that's your thing. But let's see.
Apparently,
the next one. Let's pull up Captain O'Hagan. When he first calls Mac from Canada, Mac refers to him as Uncle Argyle. Did you catch that reference, Jeremy? I'm curious because you mentioned this movie a lot. I think we've both seen it probably about a dozen times each. Brian Cox, the actor who plays O'Hagan, also played Argyle Wallace, the uncle of William Wallace in the film Braveheart.
Nice. I didn't catch that reference, but I caught the reference when they go into the shack and they're like, Chief, what is this place? You gonna make us put the lotion in the basket? I'm like, haha, because he was Hannibal. I caught that one. So I caught the Hannibal Lecter reference.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because you know what my very next piece of trivia was?
God damn it, was it that? Sorry.
Yeah, it was that. When the gang first arrives at the rundown cabin, Max says to the captain, "You gonna make us put the lotion in the basket?" Obviously, a reference to
because he was Hannibal.
Brian Cox. Actually, I think we actually talked about that in the last review anyway. So maybe not good talk. And that itself is a good movie, by the way. I'm not gonna lie. Mm-hmm. I mean, other Hannibal Lecter performances have been better, obviously, by Anthony Hopkins, but that's still a very good movie. Let's see. Let's go to. I'll get a picture of Rabbit here. I was kind of hoping to get a better picture of him in all his bloody glory after getting nut tapped by that big saw blade. But in a deleted scene, Rabbit is giving Thorny a shave and says, "What do you think, Cap? Indian Wolverine?" To which O'Hagan asks, "What's Wolverine?" Brian Cox, of course, played William Stryker in Act 2 and gave Wolverine his adamantium.
Nice. Makes sense.
His adamantium skeleton. That would have been funny.
I mean, they are in Canada.
But then again, I mean, that's what
is Canadian.
I mean, they make the references to, you know, Hannibal Lecter. They make the references to Uncle Argyle. There's I would imagine that if I were to sit back and really examine the dialogue of this movie, there would probably be some references in there that we missed. But I like how they're kind of making those fun little references. Let's see. Oh, you didn't get a picture of him in the wheelchair. That's a bummer. Let's see. At the mall, when Farva is in the wheelchair, Bellefoulet comments, "Hey, Professor Stephen Hawking has really let himself go. Stephen Hawking actually died just a few months before this film was released."
I was wondering about that because I was like, this was 2018. Like, did he die already? And I was like, I think he did. I mean, when they were filming this, he was probably actually still alive. But
oh yeah,
damn.
Actually, it's said in the trivia, and I would have to correlate some dates for this to be sure. Stephen Hawking died the month before this film was released. So, like, very closely.
Well, but you said they were working on this in like 2015, 2016.
So he was definitely alive when they filmed, but not so much when it finally hit theaters.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah, kind of a bummer.
That sucks.
Let's see. What is the next piece of trivia I got? You know, we haven't even talked about the scene yet. I guess maybe we'll break it down now for a little bit.
Fred Savage.
The Fred Savage after credit scene was filmed on the Wisteria Lane set from Desperate Housewives.
All right, then.
Using multi-use of sets.
Yeah, I mean, it works.
So,
I mean, the point is I just wanted to see what happened to Fred Savage.
Let's talk about that scene for a second. It started out kind of silly, and then it gets super funny super fast, especially when he starts falling down the tree. But I mean, was that payoff as good as the payoff of Farva's school bus incident from the first movie?
It does do a little bit of expectation subversion because I was like, did he really just fall off a fucking tree? That was it. And then, you know, it's if you've seen a movie, it's telegraphed where he lands on his feet, he's standing in the road, and he throws the cat, they saved that tree. He's like, hell yeah, boom, taken out by a fucking fire truck, like Final Destination style. I was like, yeah, there it is. I saw that coming. I'm like, damn, that really sucks.
Okay, I'm not going to tell you what it is. I only shot over the gist of it for a moment. There is a mid-credit scene in this new movie. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, I would expect there to be because
I didn't want to go into like what it was about because even a little bit of a spoiler would kind of bum things out. But I just kind of glanced over it. It said post-credit scene. Who's in it? Okay, I'm done. I didn't read a whole lot about it. But yes, there's the mid-credit scene, and it's the little bit that I've read, they do something very Super Trooper-y to make fun of modern filmmaking. But anyway, we'll go to Rob Lowe for this one because, he's got a history as an actor. Similarities to Rob Lowe's character from his role in Blood, which is a great movie from the 80s. Even his final fight with the trooper, with taking his teeth out, genital shaving, and fighting dirty by pulling jumper or jersey over an opponent's head during the brawl. Straight out of Youngblood, if you've never seen that movie.
I was like, that's a move. You pull the fucking jacket over his head and boom, just knock him out. Yeah.
That's the hot move. I love when he pulled his teeth out. He's like, my coach always said, if you haven't lost your teeth, I'm going to pull them out for you, or whatever the hell he said. I thought it was funny when I was listening to it.
He said, when your big boy teeth come in, your coach pulls them out for you. I'm like, what?
One last piece of trivia. Kind of a throwback to the first movie. Do I have the picture of it? I didn't know if you get it or not. I don't know if I grabbed it. Let me look real quick because I do not have it. Unfortunately. Super Troopers. No, I do not have it. Damn it. That's a bummer. Anyway, when nope, click the wrong thing again. I need you to go away so I can click on this. Let's see. When last piece of trivia, when Rabbit is getting his private shaved, he yells that the shaving cream is starting to burn and asks, "Did you guys use menthol?" This is obviously a reference to the first movie when Rabbit was stuffed into a locker and covered in shaving cream. He was actually covered in menthol. The crew didn't know that menthol burned skin, and then he had to go next door to a firehouse to get hosed off. That's some good Kevin Smith self-awareness, some good Kevin Smith meta humor.
Yeah, a little bit of the learn from a joke of that you did in the first movie. And it's like, yeah, you handcuff this poor dude to the bench. Guys are just gonna shave him, and it's like, yeah, guys, I'm still in here. This shit's burning. God damn, that's funny.
New Girl. That's where I've seen the door. The girl that plays Thorny's sister in the new one, she was from New Girl. I was looking at her face. And I'm like, where have I seen her before? I didn't watch a lot of New Girl. I watched an episode here and there. I thought it was kind of funny. It wasn't one of those shows that I got really into. But yeah,
she's cool.
And let's not forget Will Sasso, by the way. Will Sasso is awfully funny in this movie too.
Yeah.
I still contend that when Mad TV was on the air, it was way better than anything Saturday Night Live was doing. Mad TV and in Living Color, when they were on the air, especially Living Color, that was the show to watch when I was in high school. But when they were on the air, they were doing 10 times better than Saturday Night Live. So much funnier. I think people watch Saturday Night Live now because they just feel like they're supposed to because it's Saturday Night Live. Tex is over in Alex Nagar's being chat. What the fuck?
Goddamn Canadian loving motherfucker. That's high treason in this stream right now.
Totally.
I was gonna call you a dirty Canadian Frank. You're like, I like the first movie better. I'm like, that sounds like Canadian talk. God damn it. I don't know why you don't like this movie.
Let's go check out what our friends in the Great White North are doing.
Oh, let's go check out the Canadians
band right now. What do they got going on?
We're Canada light. I say
no. So for myself, no. What about you, Alex? Is there something like out of a song?
There's that accent.
Aside from being like just shitty in general, like that bugs you?
No, not really. I would have to hear a few songs in question. I'm not familiar with Gypsy by Crystal Waters, so. But the movie quotes thing, I will push back on that a little bit because in some death metal and deathcore, they'll insert random movie quotes from
throwing hands.
Really strange movies, but the quote will be absolutely hilarious in the context of the song.
Fair enough.
How much does it take to send a post to Canada?
I don't know.
Who's it to?
I've
Canada.
always noticed
it just says "Dear Canada."
Two guitars.
Fuck you.
And I think I said this on the show before, but especially since being in the band and you really listen to music now, I hear little things now, and there's some songs I can't even listen anymore because there's like an annoying sound in it.
We're gonna invade in Vermont if you don't wave.
And there's like a weird, like almost like a fake bird sound in it that's like, and it's like I can't not hear it now.
I hear the I get what he's saying because I hear the Wilhelm scream in almost every movie that I watch now, whether it's there or not.
They have a song.
It's like people hear that damn sound from Inception. And I'm like, you know, it wasn't in the movie, right? That
why is that weird?
I'm like, that sound was everywhere.
Yeah, it picks at me. I can't stand listening to it.
Some people, when they're mixing a song in post, they get these strange ideas to insert sounds and such. And
boy, how far behind are they on their?
It doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, really.
Now, like one that worked really good was in at the end of
well, they're trying to
Snowblind.
Work.
Maybe we need to chug some maple syrup and our ears will start burning.
An alarm going on. That's
you and me right now. Let's go.
In the studio to get the sound.
I do have my bottle of
They show
Aunt
a
Jemima
picture
back
of,
there
like,
still.
putting, like, I think it's a stage or something up by the.
No, I don't want to drink it.
See, I've
though.
got like
alarm to go
I got
off.
like some good like
Okay,
homemade
that's cool.
shit.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's especially
I'm gonna-
when you're recording it
I'm
in
gonna
the
save
studio,
my
you
Aunt
get
Jemima.
that genuine little bit of echo to
Mhm.
it. Yeah.
And
Sure
there
that.
are cool things when you like what song is it by the Beatles when you can hear I got blisters on me fingers, you know, or I think at the end of Hanging by the Moment or Hanging by a Moment, you can hear the guy go, you hear the guys go, oh, that was good.
One of
You
the
can actually hear,
one
like,
of their
them say it at
regular
the end
viewers has
before
got one of the
track
greatest
goes away.
names in
That's
YouTube,
cool.
Freak Nasty Bum Sex.
Or because the way they
Oh,
used to
yeah.
record music,
Did I ever tell you the
like a mic?
did I ever tell you
right in
the
middle,
greatest
acoustic
gamer
middle,
tag I
yeah.
ever found from somebody? And he never added me
And-
back, by the way.
and
What a
they play, and if
bastard.
you listen to
His gamer tag
the
was I
Ocean
sold my
by
ex
Led
on eBay.
Zeppelin, and as long as you're ready for it, because you don't blow your ears out.
Never added me. I was
You
like, that's a
can hear,
hilarious gamer
if
tag.
you
Like, that's
your ears
awesome.
Like this, you can hear when Bonzo's
Right.
going,
I even
"We've
sent him a
gone
message
far
like, yo, that's a
already,
hilarious
and now
gamer
we're
tag.
steady," and then they went
Never added
1,
me.
2, 3, and just before the ba ba da da da, you can actually hear it start very vaguely. So it's
What
like
did
it almost
Keegan text
kicked
me?
inside and then kicked onto the other speaker. It's really,
Hey,
like, a
celebrate
really
this.
cool
My son
thing.
got promoted.
I think it is. I think it's really neat.
Hey.
So, yeah.
Pour
and
out
then,
Pour out a maple syrup for our homeboy.
yes, and yeah. So in the beginning of
Maybe I'll
Since we can't-
take a
since
couple
we can't
green M&Ms
actually-
with me and celebrate.
Yeah,
Sting, I
since
think,
we can't actually
kind of
show any
went and
footage
sat on the piano
of Super Troopers
accidentally,
2, we'll just show some
and
other
they laughed.
Canadians.
That laugh is genuine. Like,
Here,
it was
we
an
see
act.
we
It was,
bring you real, live,
like, you know,
actual
you
Canadians
know,
on this
Yes.
show.
Here,
You're welcome.
you hear that. That's actually David Gilmour, like coughing.
Boy,
and,
they're
that
like
made
way
it
behind in their
original.
chat. I don't know what they're talking about.
It's like, oh my god, that's what I sound like. Holy crap!
They're like
Really?
right in
Just-
here somewhere,
Still.
and
I'm
we're
about
way
to
down
jump in the chat
here.
like, guys.
We were just talking about before we hello Craigery before we
Hey,
got on
Craig.
the air. Speaking of health,
Hey, Craig. Good for Craig.
You started something.
Anyway, go watch
God damn.
Alex and Garbage Man. They're over on YouTube. They will wave hi eventually, probably 20 minutes after we log out, because that's the way things
Right.
go. But and I'm on the wrong thing because I should be there,
Ah,
so you guys can
shit.
see. I'm on the.
Sorry.
I would say-
I'm
Stop
clicking
clicking things.
stuff.
I'm
My bad.
clicking things.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
I know you usually do Thursdays, but come on, I'm running the show today. Damn it! Stop clicking things when I click things. Unless
God
you
damn
know,
it, don't ask for pictures and be like, we didn't get this, you didn't get this, you didn't get this. Send
Well-
me the notes at least. If you give me notes, all the trivia, I'm like, I'll find a picture for it. Believe
I
me.
really should do. I really
Amongst
should have done
other
that. To be perfectly honest. Yeah,
I
don't
should
do
be
that.
asking. Just
Well,
give me
I
the
should.
notes and I'll find stuff.
I really should just be sending them all. But sometimes if I ask you the body count, I don't want you to know.
Well,
You know what I could
you can
do?
always edit
I-
that later. Just wait until the day of and then put it in there.
I could just put a post-it note that says, body count, whatever. Or just lie.
Your Frank's got like a fucking serial killer. He's got post-it notes all over his fucking room that says body counts. And they're like,
I was
what the hell?
I was actually thinking about it this time. I was like, should I put a body count in there? And be like, no, they totally said there's a body count. Because, sure, people die. People get shot at the end of the movie and whatever. But no, there's no body count in this movie. At least not according to IMDb. So,
Well, take it with a grain of salt.
yeah, really. Especially from IMDb. Half the trivia that I put out here for you guys to entertain you guys with, I'm not sure half that shit's true. I think I've even debunked a couple of them kind of like as I go. I'm just like, there's no way that's true. There's no way that happened. But we're going to go ahead and finish up this one now. Jeremy, give me your final thoughts on Super Troopers 2 as we get ready to do the third film next week.
Yeehaw. I enjoyed this movie. I am not upset that I watched it because, again, I do have a lot of hesitation when it comes to movies that come out in a sizable amount of time between, the last installment. So, but I'm glad to see that these guys have not lost their humor. That's a good sign. And I'm not like Frank where I will judge an entire movie based off of a trailer. However, it does look hilarious. It does actually look funny, but I'm also like, that doesn't mean... Now, like I said, this all behind me saying, yes, they have seemed to have kept the humor. They know what they're doing. They know the goofy premise and that it can work. And all the shenanigans that they can get into. I'm backing up. Like, that they can get into. Yeah, no, I enjoyed it as a second installment. It felt like it fit right in. that's kind of a nice bit that we've said, like, if you can watch movies even if they've had a big time gap, if you can watch them back to back and still feel like you could do that in one run, then that's even more praise to them. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm actually kind of excited to see 3 because I feel like now after 25 years, there's really no excuse for it not to be just as fucking funny as the last one. So yeah.
Yes, I'm excited for what's coming. I mean, this movie's very funny. Like I said, I prefer the first one, but I mean, this movie is certainly funny on its own. And to be absolutely honest, I mean, you don't even really need to see the first one to get this one because it's kind of the same movie. But but I mean, you get some of the in jokes, things like that, like the whole thing about did you guys use menthol, things like that. But this movie is hilarious. I'm really excited for the third one. Mostly because legacy sequels now, as opposed to when this movie came out in 2018, legacy sequels now are kind of the thing. So waiting a long time to do it, like I said, it's not as taboo now as it may have been, 8 years ago when this movie came out. But also, sometimes you got to let a project cook to get to the point that it's ready to like put out there. And, there's a lot with DC. They want to rush movies out, and maybe they're not as good as they could have been under like under Zack Snyder. Not Zack Snyder's fault; it was more a corporate bullshit thing. But I mean, sometimes you got to take your time and pull back. We were just talking about it with Boondock Saints. You got to make sure it's right. It can't just come out and sell tickets to it. It's got to be right. Some movies have to be right. And I'm confident this movie is going to be right. I'm going to find out this weekend, and we're going to come back and talk about it on Tuesday. And then maybe Thursday, if Jay gets a chance to sit and watch the movie, we'll do Club Dread and just kind of make it 2 weeks of Broken Lizard. I wouldn't be upset about that.
Yeah.
Because that movie is just flat out funny. I think you're going to kick out of it. But you can check it out on Disney, Hulu, whatever the hell Disney owns.
HBO, I think, has even got this one too.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Yeah, I actually had to watch this.
When I searched it, it gave me like Hulu and HBO for some reason. So I was like, cool.
Yeah, I had to watch this on my phone last night while I was putting the stream together because Disney Plus has just been a pain in the ass because I have my TV here and I can watch it hooked up to my PlayStation so I can do stuff here at my desk. And for some reason, I just could not get onto Disney Plus on my PlayStation. I tried just to log into my computer and just figured I'll watch it on one screen while I'm putting the stream to get it on another. No, it wouldn't log into that either. I had to log in on my phone. So Disney Plus, get your shit together. I don't know what the hell's wrong with you guys these days. No problem logging into Disney Plus in my bedroom or in the TV in my living room, but anytime any of my office, for some reason, I'll figure that shit out. But come back and see us on Tuesday for Super Troopers 3. Looking forward to that one. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Jeremy, where can the folks at home find you, my friend?
Well, I will be back here on Tuesday talking about Super Troopers 3. I'll be here Thursday doing God knows what. So it's a threat and a promise, as I always say. It's creeping up on spooky season, even though right now I feel like for some fucking reason it's just like, hey, do you like thunderstorms? I'm like, yeah, I'm Midwestern, but like, okay, but hear me out. Do you want to have that like every day, all day, like for the next week? No. Well, it's too fucking bad. Like I said, Mother Nature is kind of a dick sometimes. I don't know what that was supposed to mean. It's just really getting fucking annoying because I'd rather it be crispy and cold outside because then that means it's time to scare people. And I'm more than excited. I got to start getting. I always put something new on my outfit, or I always change one thing about it. And I actually found a pretty sizable patch that I want to put on this new one that I think is really gonna be cool. I'm curious to see after so long what how many pieces of flair can I put on this vest? You know what I mean? That's kind of what it is. But
I was actually just thinking that you should get some suspenders and put different flair.
Yeah, devil coming in there with suspenders, and it's not going to get freaky as it does every damn time in that room. I'll tell you what, I'll wear the suspenders underneath. I mean, I wear the vest with the patches and the pins on it anyway. But when it gets a little toasty in hell, maybe I'll just pull out the suspenders. I used to wear a pair of suspenders, but I'd like take them down, wear them like on my side, punk rock, because that's kind of just what I look like. Maybe I ought to do that. That'd be an extra bit of real estate for my flair, so that could be fun, honestly. I think Frank gave me a new idea for next year, or even this year, if I can find them again. Because I used to have a pair that I would wear. Yeah, there's that. What am I playing? I don't know. A friend of mine wouldn't shut up about a game called Risk of Rain 2, which sounds exactly like a different video game I've played, but it's interesting. If anyone's seen that, it's like $6 right now. It's an interesting little, I guess, indie game. Risk of Rain 2. It's kind of fun. Yeah, and like I always say, the IRS can go screw themselves. So can Sony, and so can Buc-ee's. So why that's now my sign off, I don't know, but here we are.
If you know, you know. Google Buc-ee's. I'm sure it's going to be all that's all the news surrounding Buc-ee's right now.
Trust me.
There's stupid lawsuits. Google Buc-ee's.
Everyone in the goddamn world now knows where Beaver Creek, Ohio is. So, Buc-ee's, you picked the fight with the wrong goddamn state. I am telling you. You don't understand the level of pettiness that we have. So, now that you've been backed into your little stupid corner, I hope the dam breaks for you and your beaver just gets washed away. I've said it, like, we need to put it on some shirts. You're up the wrong creek with no paddle. Why did someone capitalize on that? Put that on a shirt. I don't know. You're up the wrong creek with the wrong paddle and you were going to drown.
You'll see us back here on Tuesday doing Super Troopers 3, and then Thursday doing whatever the hell it is we want to do. Me and Jeremy will figure it out between now and then. For sure, it's going to be a lot of fun. Maybe we'll do Club Dread. Maybe we'll do something else. Also, Jeremy, me and you need to talk about what kind of horror movies we're going to be doing. With spooky season coming up, we got to dig back into the blood and guts. We'll get Tex on here.
Texas Chainsaw Day is coming up again. I need to
watch it again. It is. It's getting re-released in theaters, I think, and I want to go see it. But yeah, I want to go see it on the big screen. But yeah, God, so a lot of horror content is right around the corner here. That's always a lot of fun this time of year. I think last year we went kind of light on it because there was so much going on. But this year we're gonna see if we can get some shit together, and we're gonna have some fun. And hopefully the thing that I was planning on doing this spring that I didn't get around to because I didn't plan it fast enough. I'm going to start putting that together probably here shortly so that next spring we can do a really cool thing with a lot of YouTubers that I've been wanting to do for a while. So we'll get that taken care of as well. Thanks to you, Jeremy, obviously, for coming and hanging out with me and being awesome as always. Thanks to all of you for coming and hanging out today. We appreciate you guys. Go check out Alex when we're done here and give them some hell, give them some views, give them likes. Don't forget to spread us around to all of your friends, all the people you love, all the people you hate. Make them watch our bullshit, and we'll see you guys next time. Till then, adios.
Buy some merch.
Buy some merch, damn it. We got some good anti-Buc-ee's merch in the merch store. I mean, I'm not trying to look. I don't push the whole e-begging thing. It's not really my bag. But I mean, we're not going to ever monetize on YouTube, especially with their new rules, which is something I thought about doing a video on, but ultimately I just don't care. But whatever. Oh. Yeah, screw a bunch of YouTube. Screw YouTube, screw Buc-ee, screw Sony. Who else are we screwing?
IRS.
Yeah, IRS. Yeah, the IRS sucks too. But everybody knows that already.
Yeah. True.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.